Well, welcome back to Scene on 7. We're up in the loft of our Michelin on Main TV studios for the main event. That's the place where opinion lives. You can head somewhere else for fair and balanced. Our guests, they're just here to lay their views on the line, maybe even throw a few punches at the news of the day. Let's go ahead and introduce all returning to the show. We have Wilson Eatson. He is owner of Wilson's on Washington.
Hey, thanks.
Welcome back, sir. Taryn Shear, she is a PR superstar and contributor with Town Magazine. And local personality, Jadu, all joining us. We're going to jump into the ring. Round number one, we are headed to the great state of North Carolina, where I would be remiss if I did not tell you they are in the middle of possibly amending their civil unions laws. In the wake of that, a preacher in Fayetteville, North Carolina, stands up in front of his congregation and says, if your son is gay, punch him in the stomach. If his wrist gets limp, snap that wrist. And then goes on to say, if you have a butch daughter, to tell her she must be beautiful. She must smell good. What are you thinking? Anybody?
Well, all creatures are beautiful, you know, and I don't think it's our place to judge what they should be doing or how they should be behaving in any way. And there was a line on Glee the other night that said, you can't beat the gay out of anyone any more than you can beat the stupid out of them.
Well, these in particular are children we're talking about.
They're children, and you have children to give them unconditional love. You raise them to be whoever they want to be and do whatever they want to do, and you believe in them. And if this congregation is standing behind them, then each one of those people should not be allowed to have children. Don't have children.
Whoa.
If you're not going to give your child unconditional love.
Unconditional love, and somebody is sitting on their couch going, but Taryn, I can give them guidance. Is this the form of guidance we want to give them, Jada?
I think the thing is you have to be careful what you say in front of people, because it can get skewed to the left, to the right really easily, especially in church when it's coming down like God is telling you to give it to everybody. You got to be really careful. On the same token, I punched a kid in the stomach in church one time, and so now I'm getting kind of nervous. It wasn't because he was gay. It wasn't because he was gay.
All right. I know that no doubt you guys have some strong opinions about this, and I cannot wait to hear them. But it is interesting. I've heard the preacher speak after that. He said, I wasn't saying break anyone's wrist, but
why are we using physical violence for anything?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I don't like the punch anybody in the stomach, and I was a tomboy growing up.
Well, I can believe that.
That's okay. No. That's all right. That's all right. We're moving on to round number two, and we're going to talk about a new product that is on store shelves. It looks much like that mouthwash spray that you used to have years and years ago. And this will get you drunk. It's intended to. It only lasts for a few seconds. Is this a good product, or is this disaster?
I'd rather have a spray to get you undrunk.
A spray to get you undrunk. Now that could make money.
Tell your stomach to stop eating. That's what, you know, that would be a better thing.
Well, I think they have that sprinkle on food stuff.
You know, I see people say they want to get drunk to lose their inhibitions, but if you lose your inhibitions for 8 seconds, when you start doing something that you wouldn't be doing if you weren't drunk, and then it wears off and you're in the middle of that moment, do you really want to be there sober? Because you're doing something you wouldn't have wanted to do when you were sober.
This is more regulation, Jadu. I mean, we went through the whole energy drinks that had alcohol in it, and the kids were buying them because they looked like, you know, cartoonish Kool-Aid drinks. It's going to be a problem with the kids.
I think the kids will abuse it no matter what. So I think you have to be careful about something like that. And just like Taryn was saying, you know, 8 seconds later, I realized I got my shirt off, and I go, whoa, I went a little too far. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm going to abuse it too, you know? So I think you have to be really careful with stuff like that, especially with anyone who can get their hands on it.
All right. Regulation will be interesting on a little spray product like that, for sure. We're moving on to round number three. This lady has been on our panel before. I am talking about the mom who they are now referring to as tanorexic. SNL just spoofed her, okay? She allegedly let a 6-year-old child into a tanning room. We don't know if she got in the bed or not, but the child had burns, allegedly. What is America doing with this tanorexia?
I'm personally so glad that this is now becoming an issue, because I used to go tanning every day. So I understand what this concept is, because you need it. Like is what they say drug addicts have, where you have to go. There's something in you. And now that they're bringing it to light, more and more people are going to figure out that this is not something that's healthy, and you're going to wind up with
It's
skin
vitamin
cancer.
D deficiency.
It
Vi-
is.
And it does make you feel better
does.
as long as you don't abuse
That's
it.
why we have. That is why we have seasonal depression. Is people not having that. So if you start getting sunlight a lot, you get a high, as of sorts. I know I'm not a doctor, but it does give a euphoric feeling.
Now, I think that everybody who goes to a tanning bed is crazy. Every single
Easy
last
for
one of
you
them.
to say,
Every
J.D.
single last one of them. So, the natural.
don't you
I'm a
think-
former crazy.
Listen, Taryn, and look, I have a garden. I'm out on the water doing supboarding all the time, so I'm clearly getting a lot of sun. But Taryn, it is more vogue now. You're in the fashion industry to be.
Well, they say you look 10
Pale.
pounds thinner instantly if you're tan, but exactly. Now
Oh,
that
but she
fig-
looked like she was one of the chimney sweeps
Oh,
of
she
Mary
looks
Poppins.
ridiculous.
Oh, come on.
That's
My
an
friend Ashley
obsession.
said that.
I mean, you can tell she's obsessed. It's like a drug terror. She can't get rid of it, and it's sad. I mean, that's
Her
sad.
husband stood up for her and said she also likes to use really
Stop.
dark makeup, but whether she needs a makeover or less tanning bed, I think she maybe needs some mental
She
help.
says we're all jealous.
Oh. See, now there's a part of me that feels for her. If she feels like she needs that to be accepted and loved in this world, there's a problem.
But then
There's-
again, it's a child.
It's-
It's okay if she does that, if that's the way she perceives herself. But she's forcing her belief on her child.
all right.
And we know all of our damage is done as teenagers and young children to our
children.
skin. I mean, that little girl is going to grow up and have some problems because of what's happening now.
There's a fine line in getting some healthy sun and becoming the Oompa Loompa and the Snooki of the world, right?
Get the plastic pool for your yard, okay?
All right. There are fake tanners too, but you can go too far with those. That's right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Orange is not the new pale.
All right. If you are getting fired up about something, we want to hear about it. Head to our Scene on 7 Facebook page. Let us know what you think. You can also check this segment out online. It lives at sceneon7.com. And do follow us on Twitter as well. Stick around. Marvel superheroes fight their way to a record-setting weekend at the box office. That story is straight ahead.
Lost and make me wait.